I have a confession, you guys. I am a shipper. I know. Now that I have gotten that off my chest, I think I should be a little more descriptive. When I say I am a shipper, I mean I am a hopeless romantic. In just about every fandom I have participated in, I will almost always become emotionally invested in the personal or romantic relationships of at least two characters. I'll give you guys some examples. Aang and Katara from The Last Airbender, Kim and Ron from Kim Possible, Jake and Rose from American Dragon, and the focus of today's episode, Spike and Rarity. That's right, I am a Sparity shipper. You should be able to gauge what I look for in relationships based upon the ships I tend to support. I believe love is a journey rather than a destination, so I tend to enjoy and support relationships that focus on the growth and develop over time than on the so-called more romantic moments that others may look for. In fact, I tend to have an absolute aversion to some of the more common tropes of romantic narratives, one in particular. But today's fanfiction has few of those tropes, which is perhaps what drew me to it. How to Woo Your Lady in 9 Easy Steps is a romantic, dramatic comedy written by paleowriter, a big-time Sparity writer, perhaps a reason they are one of my favorite writers on Fanfiction. The story follows Spike, who, having failed constantly in making Rarity understand his feelings for her, orders a book entitled How to Woo Your Lady in 9 Easy Steps. Spike is assured that if he follows the steps in the book, Rarity will be as good as his. From there, hilarity, tragedy, and misunderstanding ensue. The story is about 50,000 words and 10 chapters, so it is by no means a hard read. I managed to read it in about an afternoon, assisted by the fact that it is also an easy read. The story instantly manages to make you invested in the characters and their plights. At no time do you ever feel that any character is in the wrong, which makes the tragic ironies later in the novel all the more depressing. Yes, you heard me. Novel. I believe that fanfiction is an art form comparable to any other, and that a well-written fanfiction can be compared to any piece of so-called legitimate literature. That being said, How to Woo is not only one of the best fanfictions I have read, I would go so far as to say it is among some of the best bits of literature that I have ever had the pleasure to read. The story is incredibly precise and is crafted like a fine piece of marble. Every element introduced in the story has a satisfying, hilarious, or heartfelt payoff. The characters are all written extremely likable, and Spike produces equal parts swag and face-hoofing ignorance throughout the entire adventure. Rarity is enjoyable, and her internal conflict and dilemma over Spike is among some of the best writing in the story. The only character who is at all somewhat annoying is Twilight, who comes off as a negative Nancy and performs an action halfway that is so dickishly missaid that you are almost guaranteed to despise her until she redeems herself later. As stated prior, I hate certain tropes of the romance genre. What drew me to this story was the fact of how subversive it was. Every time you think it will fall into a trope, it manages to pull a twist, and this is intensely refreshing. So, as you can tell, I love the Tartarus out of this story, and I recommend it with every fiber of my ethereal being. Even if you are not a Sparity shipper. The sincerity, sharpness, and trope-defying gall of this is something to behold. It is by no means a neglected story, possessing more than 12,000 views on Fanfiction, but if I can get someone to check it out who might not have otherwise, then I will have succeeded in doing some good. I'll see you guys next time on the Brony Critic, because every fandom needs a critic. I'll see you guys next time.